thing that you have to do when you're back in the South. In South Carolina, I haven't slept in a long time. Just drove about 10 and a half hours. I have a couple more to go before I'm in the Charleston area. Woo! Made it to Charleston, got in yesterday. Feeling a little bit sick. I think it's probably just the fact that I've been traveling for the past 3.5 weeks and a lot of crazy stuff has happened. But either way, I'm here. I'm staying with some old friends and I have a reading tonight at Itinerant Literate Books at 7 o'clock. Pretty fired up about that. So hopefully we're gonna walk around Charleston and do some cool Charleston stuff today. But I'm really stoked to be here. It's really actually kind of nice to be back in the South.
Charleston has a really intense history and it's kind of teeming with stories. There are amazing people here, creative people here. There's also a great writing community that, especially in the last couple of years, I feel has coalesced. A lot of lines have been crossed and borders have been erased in the writing community. So everything from poetry slam to doing like readings in the Charleston Library Society. People seem to kind of go to all of those events, which is really cool.
We've got a really great community of active poets, and on top of that, the scenery, the politics, everything about the city combines to create a very good creative outlet. And the muses are everywhere. Anywhere you go, I do a lot of outdoor things. I'm a birder. So I go out to Magnolia Plantation or Caw Interpretive Center or just walking outside near the beaches and I'm writing.
It's called Dare. All night, bursts of light, fireworks in the thunderstorm. Leave it to Florida to try to outdo God. We were married to recklessness, so we stripped and sprang into the pool. Nude and sunburned, we dared the sky to smite us. The water broth warm, rain rippled. The night's noise smoke startled us, and we sank to the tiled bottom where we kissed wrist electrocution. You tasted like a stranger, we were strangers. And when we rose to the surface, we wrenched regret from our mouths.
There's a classic image of Charleston. So Charleston is and has been for the past couple of years named by Condé Nast the #1 tourist destination in, I think, the world or the United States. And this, of course, brings to mind things like the colorful houses of Rainbow Row, kind of the beautiful waterfront if you go up to Waterfront Park. The problem with that is that it ignores kind of the real Charleston. There are really vibrant communities outside of what you think of as downtown. Even when tourists come, they generally stay kind of north of Calhoun Street, which is all just kind of a tourist and commercial area. But there's a lot of artistic and a lot of amazing things happening further up the peninsula and off the peninsula in West Ashley and Mount Pleasant and James Island and North Charleston, which is where we are here.
Semi-charmed life because you can afford to be basic in front of some dull mic. You don't care. Don't care. You're blazing, shameless. Don't care that everyone knows the chorus because only the few who own these words have each verse burnt in them like the Lord's Prayer. Everybody's ready with do-do-do, but once I'm packed and I'm holding hits, they all shove straws in their teeth and watch a body become song and heat. Been yours since 1997 when all 3 radio stations played Sugar Ray's Fly or Third Eye Blind 200 times per day. So you couldn't wait to get in your mom's minivan and hear the drums burst into rolling angst that you understood but didn't understand. You simply knew it blew up inside your skull and bled the warm hum of pure energy like burning liquor.
But to see that this community was so open and receptive to all the people that came, it was never something that I ever felt like we excluded anybody. You could come, you could do something that was brand new. You didn't have to be established in any sort of way in the writing community. So it was no elitist feeling. And so as soon as I started coming to them, I noticed, wow, maybe I could do this. Like maybe I could go upstage. So that was the first step. Got up on stage. I read one poem. I was like, oh my gosh. And the amount of reception after that, like everybody just cheering and encouraging, and it was amazing. And I feel like that is Charleston.
Washing machine motor on spin cycle is a jet plane revving its engines on the ground before takeoff. And that girl laughing from the hall bedroom, thief of hearts and hugs, silently steals my son from me.
Began to soften their stance, entertaining thoughts that maybe 52 Cat 4s in 1 year may kind of potentially signal some sort of anecdotal evidence for what could be called climate change.
Her place is easy, I hope. Easier than the slow blinking eyes that filled so quickly with dust, that refused to close to the world as if perhaps she couldn't believe it was happening, that it had happened.
We're a community that invests not only in literary history, but also in kind of the literary future. And in particular, I've been involved with the past 2 years with the Free Verse Poetry Festival, which was founded by Charleston's first poet laureate, Marcus Amaker. And we bring poetry into every space in the city. We were actually really inspired by Oh Miami, which is a poetry festival in Miami run by Scott Cunningham. And we just looked at kind of the stuff that they were doing and putting poetry in places that just wasn't expected, and putting poetry in public so that everyone in the city has to kind of confront and see poetry and engage with poetry even if they don't want to. But we think that's a really beautiful thing, because we don't think poetry is something that we like want to put into just like a book and put on the shelf. We don't want to put it behind doors. We want to make sure it's open and engaging with everyone, because we think poetry has worth for everyone. There's a bar that closed down recently called the Upper Deck, and it was a sort of a bar where you walked in and there was no sign, there was no street number. You had to go down an alleyway in a very speakeasy-like and buy like a PBR for $1.25. And I think that our poetry community is sometimes is like that. I think that that's the image of Charleston, is this kind of dark alleyway without a name. And that's mysterious and really interesting. And if you come here and want to engage, of course go to the city market, of course go see the ocean, all those things are beautiful. But also if you see like an alleyway that doesn't have a name, go down the alleyway, right? Follow that mystery, because it will lead you to beautiful places.
That's amazing. Perfect.